Welcome to the Frugalpreneur podcast. I am your host, Sarah St. John. This episode is what I refer to as a showcase episode where I feature a bootstrapped entrepreneur and they briefly share their tips, tricks, tactics, techniques, and tools that help them bootstrap their business and the successes and failures along the way. My hope is that each of these showcase episodes will provide at least one valuable takeaway that you could implement right away in your own bootstrap business journey. Now, on to the episode.
So the thing that led me to doing what I do today is recognizing a demand that I created by going to a bunch of car audio shows. So this is my sector, obviously, but I was going to car audio shows with a vehicle that I had a very large system in. So every time that I went to these shows, I was building relationships with people, but I wasn't selling anything at the time. I was just having fun doing something that I love to do. Every time that I would let somebody get in my vehicle and experience this crazy sound system, it would have them so hyped up and wanting to get into car audio. Most of the people would ask me, "Where do you get your equipment from?" So I kept getting this over and over, people asking me where I get my equipment from after they would listen to my vehicle. And I went to several shows after that. And one day, somebody asked me that after getting a demo from my vehicle, "Where do you get your equipment from?" And the light bulb went off in my head. I'm like, I could be selling these people this stuff. They are asking me about it all the time. Every time I let them hear it, they're asking me where they can get that from, that equipment from. So if I could figure out how to facilitate that, maybe it would turn into a thriving business. And the rest is kind of history. But that's how I got started. What created a demand by going to these shows and making relationships with these people and them wanting car audio. And then now I get to sell them the solution to that demand. So the way that I got my business up and going or bootstrapped it is you have to have capital most of the time. And at that time, I was working in an airport and that was my full time job. And I was just living paycheck to paycheck, the normal story that you always hear. I was already doing a lot of side jobs that was just trying to increase my income, but they all required my time. I was also waiting tables. I was cutting grass, detailing vehicles, all these things to try to earn more money, but I was just spending all of it. So I realized I needed to fix that problem. I needed to be more frugal with my money and start saving it so I could invest this into products that I would be able to in turn sell for a profit sometime in the future. So I finally saved up $5,000 and that's what it was required to do a buy-in with these companies. And that's how I did it. I was just being as frugal as possible. And then I used that money and did my first buy-in with a company and I slowly sold that. And all the money that I took from that sale or those sales, I just put it right back into the business. And I've been doing that ever since that day. All these years later, I'm still putting everything back into the business, but the purchases have went from $5,000 to $500,000. So that's the way that I did it. And I think it could be very beneficial for people to do it that way as well. We always have a bunch of successes and a bunch of failures, but you only become a complete failure if you quit. And I never quit. So I'll go over my failures that I feel first. And that would be, I would say, letting my health take the back burner, and which also went into my family time going down further and further. So about 3 years ago, I started making my health a number one priority because there's that saying, if you lose your health, it doesn't matter how much money you have or make. If you lose your health, you lose your wealth or you lose everything. So it doesn't even matter at that point. So I got my health under control and then I started making more time for my family, my fiance and my daughter, and also my immediate family, mom and dad, and everything like that. So that was a failure of mine that I ended up fixing and that became a success. But I would say my biggest success was when I realized when I was first getting started and I woke up one morning and I saw that I had a sale that ended up making me like $1,000 while I was asleep. And I'm like looking at my phone, did this really just happen? Is this possible to make money while you're sleeping? So I think that was one of the biggest successes, initial successes that I had when I was first getting started because it just blew my mind that I was able to make more money while I was asleep than 2 weeks worth of work that I had to put in at my hourly job at the airport. So that was a great day for me for sure. So I would say the biggest thing that has made my business the most successful is I was growing my social media following before I even knew I was going to have a business. And this in turn provided a very solid foundation for my business to stand on and to have people, my following, my supporters, my fans. I was able to leverage that into sales because I was gaining a relationship with them that I didn't even know I was doing that at that time. I thought I was just becoming popular on the internet. I thought this would be cool. But when I decided to start a business, all these people already had this feeling of knowing me through my social media content, whether it was YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it was. They felt this personal connection with me. So when I told them I started this business in core audio, like they just wanted to support me. My Down for Sound business is guaranteed lowest prices, fastest shipping, best customer service. So they don't have really any reason not to come support me. You're supporting somebody they already like, and they're guaranteed lowest prices, and we stock a lot of stuff. So this was huge. And I see a lot of businesses not having social media to contact customers or to gain more customers or not putting content out there. I'm like, man, you're leaving a bunch of money on the table. So I think that's very important for a company to have a social media and like them be utilizing it, and also have a online source for the products that they sell if it's possible. Then that's another great option as well. There's so many cliche sayings in the business world and everything, but some of them really hold a lot of weight to me. And one of them is you got to be willing to outwork everybody in your space. And this has been something that's been huge for me. And again, I was working daylight and way past dark for years and years and years until I was able to afford to have team members on my team that helped me obviously do this. But this is something that you really need to take to heart. And usually, when it's getting very, very hard, you're just before a big breakthrough, and that's when most people give up. So don't give up. Keep pushing. If it seems like it's very, very hard and it's not making sense and you just want to give up, just know that's when 99% of people do give up, and that's why they fail. But if you don't give up at that point, you just keep pushing, eventually one day you will see like, wow, this is why not giving up was the best option, because now I'm able to do this, this, and this, whatever it might be for you. But if people want to follow me, they can, or they want to purchase some car audio, they can do that at downforsoundshop.com. If you want to follow me on Facebook and Instagram, I have The Life of Price. And I also have Down for Sound Shop on Facebook, Instagram. And if you want to follow my personal page, which is more of like stuff that I have personally going on, which is almost anything, but my personal page on Facebook is Johnathan Price. And I think I have almost 30,000 people just following my personal page, which is crazy to me, but it's awesome to have so many supporters. I appreciate you guys having me on and look forward to seeing you guys in the future.
I hope you enjoyed that episode and were able to take away a valuable nugget of information that you can implement right away in your own business. If you feel your story would be valuable for the listeners of this show, please visit frugal.show/guest.